You're at a crowded bar, laughter ringing, glasses clinking, but you're a ghost in the chaos. You see her smile, perfect, rehearsed, and your mind churns. Why does it feel hollow? Why do their jokes fall flat, their chatter a dull roar? You crave something real, a connection that cuts deeper than flirtation. But when you speak your truth, eyes glaze over. They call you too much, too intense, and walk away. You're left alone, heart pounding, wondering if your soul's too heavy for love. Soren Kierkegaard, the tortured genius of despair, knew this pain. He saw the deep thinker's curse. The clearer you see, the lonelier you stand. This isn't about fixing you, it's about facing a brutal truth. Your depth may doom you to love alone. In this video, we'll shatter the lies, embrace the fire of your solitude, and uncover a power most never grasp. Strap in, this journey will scar you before it saves you. Kierkegaard didn't live in the crowd. He haunted its edges, a man who saw through the world's masquerade. He called society the crowd, a mindless blur of conformity chasing comfort over truth. You, the deep thinker, don't belong here. You question cliches, pierce masks, and hunger for meaning in a world obsessed with noise. Your mind is a blade, slicing through small talk, fake smiles, and shallow games. But that clarity is a curse. People crave the predictable. Nod, laugh, play the script. You can't. You see their pain behind the grin, their fear behind the charm, and it unnerves them. They don't want truth, they want ease. Kierkegaard warned, the crowd worships illusions, and you with your piercing gaze are a threat. Why does your depth repel? Because it exposes. Your questions, what's love really? Or, why do we chase what's empty? Strip people bare. They feel seen not in love but in judgment, even when you mean no harm. You don't flirt with cliches, you dissect them. You don't chase trends, you watch the crowd and wonder why. To most, this isn't magnetic, it's terrifying. Kierkegaard said the deep thinker breaks the script, not with rebellion but with reflection. You're unreadable, unpredictable, a riddle they can't solve. In a world where conformity is safety, you're a storm, and storms don't get love, they get fear. Let me tell you about Ethan. He was a poet at heart, always asking big questions on dates. Women called him too serious, ghosting him for guys who played the game. He felt broken, like his mind was a flaw. Kierkegaard's work was a thunderbolt. Ethan saw he wasn't failing. He was free, refusing to shrink for their comfort. He started writing, pouring his soul into words, and found peace alone. Now he's magnetic, not because he tries, but because he's real. Some women stay drawn to his depth, others run. Ethan doesn't care. He's sovereign, his soul answering to no one. His story is a mirror, if you dare to face it. This is the inferno. Love for you isn't comfort, it's a leap of faith. Kierkegaard said authentic love demands you risk your true self, no masks, no games. But the crowd craves ease, quick text, shallow validation, romance as escape. You want more, raw connection, souls laid bare. Your clarity, seeing her flaws, her games, feels like criticism even when it's love. She walks away not because you're wrong, but because you're too awake. Society sells love as a prize for playing nice, but you can't play. You'd rather be alone than lie, and that's your curse, and your crown. Why do women flinch? Evolution wired them for safety. Partners who follow rules, who flatter, who chase. You don't. You question the rules, skip the games, and stand unmoved by beauty's spell. Kierkegaard called this sovereignty, self-ownership that unnerves the crowd. You're not swayed by her charm, not hooked by her pull. They say, he's cold, but mean, I can't control him. Your independence is a fire burning through their scripts. They fear you not for what you do, but for what you are, a man who doesn't need them. That's the deepest wound you inflict, not by choice but by existing. Here's the trap. You've been taught to shrink. Be nice, laugh at their jokes, hide your thoughts. Kierkegaard called this despair, losing yourself to fit the crowd. You try small talk, but it chokes you. You date, but shallow vibes bore you. You're not arrogant. You're starving for substance, for a love that matches your fire. The world calls you difficult, but you're just refusing to live a lie. Every time you dim your light, you betray the man you could be, a man who doesn't beg for love but radiates it. I've been there, swallowing my thoughts on dates, fearing I'd scare her off. It worked, I got smiles but no connection. Kierkegaard's truth was a blade through that fog. I stopped hiding, started asking raw questions. What's your deepest fear? Some fled, others stayed, drawn to my truth. My solitude isn't failure. It's a forge, shaping me into a man who doesn't need her to shine. That's the power you're sleeping on, buried under the crowd's lies. Kierkegaard's big idea was the leap of faith, not just in God but in yourself. To love authentically, you risk being you even if it isolates you. The crowd plays roles, charming, agreeable, to be liked. You can't. Your soul demands truth even at the cost of love. That's not rejection, it's rebellion, a refusal to betray your fire. You're not unlovable, you're untamed, a man who'd rather walk alone than wear their mask. This leap is your power, a fire that burns away the false and leaves only you raw and radiant. Let me tell you about Clara. She was a thinker, always too much for guys. They wanted banter, she wanted truth. Kierkegaard's work woke her up. She wasn't flawed, she was rare. She stopped shrinking, started painting her questions onto canvas. Her solitude became a sanctuary, her depth a crown. She met a man who matched her fire, not because she chased, but because she shone. Clara's leap wasn't finding love, it was claiming herself. Her story is a call. Stop hiding, start burning. Why does this hurt so much? Because the crowd punishes depth. Kierkegaard called it the sickness unto death, a quiet despair where you lose yourself to fit in. You're told, don't think so much, just vibe. But vibing kills your soul. You see through their games, so you're cold. You seek truth, so you're awkward. It's not you, it's a world addicted to shallow. They fear your silence, your questions, your gaze. You're a mirror reflecting their masks they can't bear to see. That's why you're ghosted, not loved. The cost is brutal. Fewer friends, emptier nights, conversations like empty shells. Kierkegaard said you're a knight of faith, a loner bound by inner truth, not applause. You're not failing, you're evolving, shedding the crowd's noise for your soul's fire. Your solitude isn't a flaw. It's a crucible, forging a man who can't be broken. You're not here to fit, you're here to burn, to radiate a light that scares or saves. This is the flip, your depth is your power. Kierkegaard said the crowd is untruth, a lie of souls asleep. You're awake, a rebel who sees their games and walks away. You don't need validation, you own your worth. You don't chase love, you are its truth. That's sovereignty, not loneliness. You're a storm, exposing their illusions. Some flee, the right ones stay, drawn to your fire. You're not doomed, you're dangerous, a man who can't be tamed. Try this. Next time you're on a date, ask one raw question. What's the lie you tell yourself? Don't flinch. Kierkegaard said this is how you leap, by risking your truth. It might scare them, but it'll show you who's worth your fire. Share your question in the comments. Let's spark a rebellion of thinkers. Don't stop there. Hit that like button for the next soul who needs this blaze. Share it with someone hiding their depth. Another story, my buddy Nate was always friend-zoned, his big questions scaring women off. Kierkegaard's truth set him free. He stopped playing nice, spoke his fire, and faced the silence. Some left. One stayed, loving his rawness. He's not fixed. He's real, a man who doesn't need her to shine. His solitude wasn't a cage. It was his forge, shaping a soul unbreakable. Here's the prophecy. The crowd fears you. What? You expose their game, curated lives, fake laughs, power plays. Kierkegaard said you're not too much, you're too awake. Your clarity threatens their illusions, your questions pierce their masks. You're not unlovable, you're a mirror showing them what they've buried. They run not from you but from themselves. That's your gift, a fire that burns away the false, leaving only truth. What's the alternative? Shrink to fit, smile on cue, love on autopilot. You'll be liked but empty. Kierkegaard warned, that's not life, it's despair. You'd rather walk alone than live their lie. Your solitude isn't punishment, it's a throne where you rule your soul. You're not waiting for love, you're forging yourself, a man who radiates, not begs. So how do you live? Be you unapologetically. Ask the big questions. Seek truth, not comfort. Kierkegaard said love isn't winning someone. It's mutual unveiling, two souls raw and real. It's rare, terrifyingly rare, but worth the wait. Don't dim your fire, the right ones will see it and burn with you. You're not alone, you're sovereign, a knight of faith in a world of sleepers. Imagine a life where you don't hide. You speak your truth, love without games, stand tall in your depth. Kierkegaard called this selfhood, becoming who you are, not what they want. You're a storm, a fire, a man who shakes the world. Your solitude isn't a curse, it's your crown, a sign you've chosen truth over lies. That's the power you hold if you dare to claim it. One more story. Lisa felt too intense for love, her questions scaring men away. Kierkegaard's truth was her salvation. She stopped hiding, started writing her fire into stories. Her solitude became a fortress, her depth a beacon. She's with someone now not because she chased, but because she shone. Her depth wasn't a flaw, it was her fury, her freedom. Why does this matter? The world needs you, your questions, your fire, your truth. Kierkegaard said your solitude is your strength, not your shame. You're not here to fit, you're here to awaken, to burn through the lies and light the way. Don't shrink for love, grow into it. The right ones will meet you there, not in the crowd, but in the fire of truth. Here's the challenge. This week, be raw once. Say no to a shallow date, ask a question that scares you, write your truth. Kierkegaard said small leaps build faith. Share your leap in the comments. Let's build a tribe of thinkers who burn. Hit like for the next soul who needs this fire. Share it with someone trapped in the crowd. Subscribe for more. We're forging a brotherhood of untamed souls, not sleepers. Let's rise together. I'll see you in the next one.